not great. Let's just be honest about it. Let's just get that out of the way. It's not great. $38,000 Bitcoin as of right now in this moment. As you can see, the lights are red. It is a red day. In fact, this is probably the biggest red day for most people watching this. For myself included, this is the biggest red day for Bitcoin ever. Biggest stretch of days in the red for a long time. You can see pretty much everything is getting absolutely clobbered still. As of 6 a.m. this morning, Bitcoin was down around $30,000, completely below 50% down from its all-time high. It was about 53% when it hit the bottom here. Depends on where you look, but this one's saying 31,000. 30,000 is the number that I saw on Coinbase as the low, which is 53% down from the all-time high of around $64,000 Bitcoin. Even Ethereum's getting absolutely clobbered in the last 7 days, and it's down bad today as well. Even though it's at $2,600, which is actually not that bad considering how much it ran in the last month or two, but overall, the market's down a whopping 18% total. The market cap is way down. Bitcoin's market cap is now well below $1 trillion at $700 million. Still a lot of money, but it is well below where it was just a couple weeks ago. But let's not have too much FUD in this video. Let's get right into it. First of all, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Brand new channel here. Going to be posting a ton of content, updates, videos about new altcoins, videos about Bitcoin, videos about anything finance that you want to know about that we get to talk about. So definitely subscribe. And also, if you want to leave a like on the video, if you learned anything new today, if you got any informational value or entertainment value out of this video, definitely smack a like on it. And let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. But let's just start off. Let's just take a deep breath here, right? It's deep red, but let's just have some fun with it. Crypto Twitter, the memes off the charts. Absolutely devastated. Bitcoin just went under 1 billion dongs. You heard it right. Vietnamese dongs. It's now under 1 billion Vietnamese dongs per Bitcoin, which is, I just got to give a clap to that one. That you know what, that one made my day a little bit better. After all this redness, all this bloodshed, all of these fights going on Twitter, the sad news really here is that we have under 1 billion dongs per Bitcoin. If you're a lover of dongs, then you're feeling the pain too. This is how we're all actually feeling. Charles put it out there. It's a overused GIF, but this is like never been a better time. One of those days for all the new kids, myself included in crypto. This is surprisingly common. Although I will say 50% drawback in a matter of a week is probably not very common for anything ever, unless you're in Dogecoin, which is, you know, used to this kind of thing. But let's be honest here. This is what we're all doing right now. We're just sitting here looking around at everyone like, how are you feeling about this situation right now? HODL, right? It'll probably be fine, but we'll get into that in a second. This one's great. This one I really resonated with because I am 27 years old. So John, 26 years old, being into crypto is not that stressing at all. Clearly, John has gone through some things in his 26 years of existence being in crypto. I thought it was interesting that Binance, the main Binance exchange account, tweeted this with an upside down smiley face. Everyone's trying to make light of the situation, which I appreciate because after all, we're all in this together. If we're in this together, right? And unless you're not in this and you're going to move over and be like David here, who's applying for McDonald's because he's probably lost quite a bit of money in the last week, just like the rest of us. I love the little David writing here, though. That really just sealed the deal on the whole meme. Anyway, let's not go too deep into the memes because we want to be serious here, right? The ultimate goal is to make money. The ultimate goal is to build financial freedom and wealth. That's the whole purpose of this channel. So let's look at it from a real broad perspective. Let's not get too technical. Let's not get too fundamental. Let's just look at everything that's happening and see where we're at on the course of the year. The Fear and Greed Index. Definitely not going to take this too seriously, but all in all, you can see that, yes, we are in a moment of extreme fear. Many people are selling. Many people are selling at loss. Many people who are over leveraged on their positions are now having to liquidate and margin call, which, if you guys will learn over the course of the next year on this channel, never, ever, 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 in my opinion, is it good to go leverage. Don't lose more than you have. Don't bet more than you have. Don't invest more than you have. Whatever you want to, however you want to say it, say it. Only put down what you're willing to lose. You've heard that before. You're here again. Margin is the exact opposite of that. Leveraging, whatever it is, futures, however you want to play it. Only do that if you are unbelievably good at this, have been doing it for 10 years plus, which is probably none of the people watching this channel because You wouldn't be watching these videos if you had 10 years of experience. Let's be honest. Fear and greed index saying people are fearful usually is a good time to buy. However, I don't think I want to buy yet, and let's look at why. This is our roadmap. This is our go-to tracker, personally, the halving tracker that shows each year of Bitcoin's existence, each 4-year cycle mapped out against each other, essentially. Now, remember that these lines, the purple and the blue or greenish one, it's green, are not actually what the price was in those years. It's to scale based on this halving. So it's saying if in the 2017 run we hit the peak the same way we did after halving in this run, we'd be around $250,000. If we did the same thing we did in 2013, the double wave, the second part, the peak would be over $700,000, almost $800,000. Now you can see the blue is where we're at right now, and the yellow is the average of the other 2 years. So the yellow previously was pretty much our tracker. We were basically following it. We were a little bit behind at the start. Then we got a little bit ahead of it when things really started moving. We were right about on track until recently, when now you can see we are well off course as far as the average of the two. However, we look like we are still ahead of the 2017, 2016 bull cycle. This chart has not been updated. This was as of last night at 9:45 p.m. So keep in mind that this blue line is going to come down to right about, probably somewhere around right about here. I don't know if it tracks based on days, but it's going to come down really hard today from the 40,000 to, maybe mid 30s, depending on where we end up at the end of the day. Right now, we're at roughly $38,000, sitting around there, $39,000, give or take in the hour. But it's going to come down hard, which is right about where we would be if we were in the 2017 run. So all in all, yes, we've come down hard. Yes, we're 50% down from the all-time high. Yes, things are not looking super great at the moment, but we are still on par or on course with where we were in 2017 if we compare it to that run. And further than that, this is the shakeout we've been looking at. And if you guys have not been following any other channels, which I'm sure you have been, they've probably talked about this at least once as well, this V-shaped shakeout where we come down off the all-time high really hard, really fast, and then hit a point of capitulation and come way back up, right to back where we were roughly before continuing on further. That really does need to happen this cycle if I'm going to believe that this cycle is continuing to repeat itself in some way, shape, or form. If we do not bounce off and come back to the levels we were at before and re-meet our all-time high of $64,000, something's way off. The cycle no longer exists. It's been broken. It's been extended. It's been lengthened. Whatever you want to say, it's not the same enough to be looking at this track in my mind to have confidence. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we have to wait for that to potentially happen. So if we do bounce off in the next couple days here and come back up, that will be a very relieving sign for me personally to continue to follow this tracker and the others that follow the halving. Because if this breaks, if something's different this time, we're in no man's land. We're in God knows where. And at that point, anything's on the table. Realistically, anything's on the table. If that were to happen, my personal strategy at that point would be to continue to hold for at least another year, for into 2022, possibly even further, very likely even further. Right now, my strategy remains the same. Try to sell roughly half of my holdings near the top. Doesn't have to be the exact top. Very unlikely that'll happen, although the pi cycle we'll look at in a second could tell me otherwise. It's unlikely that that'll happen, but I would like to sell half of it roughly at the top, mainly because I want to buy again when it comes down, which it inevitably will come down at some point. Even if it continues to run further and further, there's a super cycle, we'll see. At some point, it will pull back, and at that point, I'll probably want to buy more. The idea to me is to continue to stack Bitcoin, to stack altcoins, to stack Ethereum. I believe in this stuff long term. I wouldn't be doing this channel. I wouldn't be investing as much as I have if I didn't believe in this stuff long term. So all in all, if things go completely haywire, I'm holding throughout. If things go back on course and we are doing what we thought we were going to do all along, the cycle continues, I will try to sell some of my holdings in order to buy more, but I will continue to hold at least half of my holdings. That way, if for some reason things continue to go upward, we were totally wrong on where the top is, or if things are completely new and changed, at least I have half of my Bitcoin still, and I'm still riding out with that. That's the plan. Let's look at the pi cycle real quick here. because people were talking about this when it crossed back in April. If you don't know what the pi cycle is, it's basically just another way to look at trying to find the top of things, right? It's basically a 111-day moving average and a 350-day moving average that are two different lines that kind of show us where we are along the course of time. The red dotted lines here show when the pi cycle indicator crossed last time, okay? The price of Bitcoin was at its peak in 2017, $19,000 roughly. This thing absolutely nailed the timing for the peak last cycle. And this is basically when the green line, which is usually on top, crosses under the orange line. And then the day that those cross is usually a good indication, according to this tracker, when the at least local top is, or a peak is going to be. And it was correct in 2013 as well. We'll come back here and we'll zoom in on this. This is the 2013 run. You can see it crossed quickly because of how crazy it was running at the time. And you can see it was a little off, but all in all, it basically called the top as well. So it's 2 for 2 on calling cycle top so far. And you can see right here, it crosses again. It called that top on that first wave in 2013. And it also wasn't as accurate here. It called a little bit before the top in the very, very, very first cycle, which was, I think a lot of people don't consider because it was so early on. And it didn't have its full cycle. It was, it was kind of like a shortened cycle. So if we're looking at this year, right, it called at least a local top when it crossed here in April. However, it crossed again back under about a week or two later. So we are now green on top, orange on bottom again like we were before the cross. It crossed back already when things came way off because you can see the way the moving averages work. If it goes down, the green's going to come back up. So is it possible that this is the top? Yes. Is it likely? I would say no. In the middle of a bull run, for it to cross and it to be the peak, that would totally break previous runs. It would break history. It wouldn't be repeating the cycle. This wouldn't be a cycle anymore. It would be something different. It's possible that it's kind of like a double wave, like the first 2013 cycle where it went up, it peaked, they crossed, it called it, it came back down. Guess what? It peaked again, crossed again, called it again. It crossed here at some point in the middle of, the consolidation here, but it crossed twice. And the second time it crossed was the actual peak of the cycle. Is it possible that that happens again here? Yes. We have to wait and find out. At this point, we have to wait and find out. It's back to what it was before, so it's possible that they will, be apart for a while again and then cross again sometime in the future, later on this year, maybe later this year than we thought, not September, but maybe more like November, December, January. Who knows? This is good to look at, and if you called it right, if you sold on the cross, which I think a lot of people did, you can see right here, it really tanked after that, and it's going to tank way more now. This is also not updated. It's at 42,000. It's going to come down way lower over here. Then you're looking good because you sold at the top. You now have cash to buy in again if you want to, and you can buy more Bitcoin than you sold for at the top here. It remains to be seen whether or not this is accurate, and we'll continue to look at this over the next couple months to see, next couple weeks even, couple days even, to see where this thing goes, because as of right now, it is essentially flawless at calling local tops. If this is the peak of the cycle, I'm going to be a little disappointed, but again, it's correct. So we got to keep looking at it. Before we move on to some questions from you guys, I wanted to look at some Twitter comments that really help me feel better, and maybe they'll help you feel better too if you are down bad on your investment. This is the capitulation of all capitulations. If you survive this, you'll survive anything. Capitulation, if you don't know what that means, it basically is when it comes down really hard, it's been beaten bad, and it fights back. And that's what we're hoping to see here. We're hoping to see it come all the way down. I don't even have a graph up. Can you believe that? Don't have a single graph up. We're hoping that it comes down hard just like this one and then bounces back up. That's what we really need to see for these cycles to continue essentially doing what they've done in the past. If it doesn't do that, if it starts to flatten out, we're going to have to reconsider how we go about this. But for the time being, let's just hope that the capitulation is happening right now. Hopefully it doesn't go any lower than it has at 30,000. It's bounced off. Again, it's currently at somewhere around 38, 39,000. It's kind of sitting there. I wanted to see it go higher. I want to see by the end of the day today, I want to see it go to maybe 42K would be really nice to end up around there, but we'll see what happens when the day closes. Let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about it. Elon Musk, in some way, shape, or form, started this whole fiasco when he tweeted about Tesla not selling Bitcoin, but not accepting it for payments anymore on their cars. He tweeted this morning about an hour and a half after the absolute low of the day, low of the year, I would say, $30,000. He says Tesla has diamond hands. Credit to our master of coin. Their master of coin is the guy that does their finances, their chief financial officer. They renamed him master of coin, which is hilarious, but that's beside the point. They're holding. They're not selling their Bitcoin. They said that in the statement he made. People probably didn't read that very carefully. They said, oh, they're not accepting Bitcoin anymore, and he's environmentally harmful. Elon's against Bitcoin. However, they're still holding. Look at their actions, not their words. That's what I'm saying here. This diamond hands is cute. I love it. I love that Elon's getting back to the meme life. I love Elon, but I lost some faith in him when he tweeted about it and essentially crashed the market. However, because crypto is not regulated, Elon, with his 3,000 IQ, may have played a little bit of game with us here. Say something bad about it. It goes down, triggers a bunch of sell-off. Tesla buys back in low, it goes back up again, and Tesla now has made even more money. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but I'm saying it's very possible. All I'm saying is Elon's a smart guy, and him tweeting probably has a little bit more meaning than just what the tweet says. I asked you guys on Twitter, send me questions about crypto. I'm going to end pretty much every video I do with some questions that you guys have. So leave me a comment down below with your questions, or hit me up on Twitter at my new crypto, Matt Cabuzio. It's Matt's Crypto. This is the Twitter I'm going to be using for this channel. So definitely go follow. It's even get to 1,000 followers on there. But leave a comment down below if you want me to answer those questions on the YouTube video. First question, what's the easiest way to get into crypto? Answer is easy. Coinbase. Go to the link in the description. If you put $100 into any crypto, you'll get $10 of free Bitcoin by using my link down below. If you're in the US, Coinbase, in my opinion, is the best. Coinbase Pro has the best fees, and it's free to use, so definitely use Coinbase Pro if you can. If you're international, I think Binance is a better option than Coinbase. The fees are a little bit better, and they have significantly more altcoins and cryptocurrency that you can invest in that Coinbase does not have. So I would say international, go Binance, link down below. US, go Coinbase, link down below. You get referrals for both of those, so definitely use my referral code in the link in the description below. First, good investment, Bitcoin? Yes. I think if you're going to invest in crypto for the first time, you should be looking at either Ethereum or Bitcoin. I would not focus on any other altcoins right now. There's going to be a bunch of people on social media telling you about things like Dogecoin, SafeMoon, Shiba, all these different altcoins, which of course you can invest in if you do your own research and really believe in them. But if you're going to invest for the first time and you're really new to crypto and you're not used to the volatility and the craziness that it is, I would definitely say Bitcoin is probably the best option. Eric says, do you think crypto will ever fail? And if so, are you investing into physical metals like silver and gold? First question, do you think crypto will fail? I mean, the question is really, do you think there's going to be a black swan event that ruins crypto entirely? Bitcoin's been around for 12 years. I don't think if it didn't get hacked or destroyed or regulated or ruined in 12 years, that it's going to happen at this point. I think it's past that test already. So I don't think it's going to fail necessarily. Will it go down in price? Will some of these altcoins completely lose their value, go out of business, not be utilized anymore? Absolutely, yes. I think there is definitely a chance that Bitcoin goes to, a super low value, or the adoption doesn't go through, or altcoins lose all their value, go out of business. Not business necessarily, but they go out of existence, really. Those are all possibilities in the terms of failing as crypto. I don't think Bitcoin's going anywhere. I don't think Ethereum's going anywhere. I think crypto in general is here to stay, but there are certainly parts of it that will fail inevitably because this is brand new. It's got to find its course, and adoption's everything. So we'll see where that goes. Am I investing into metal like silver or gold? To me, Bitcoin, gold, silver are all store of value plays. They are a way to put your money into something so that it retains its value over time. The dollar is going to have inflation, whether it's 2% or 10% or whatever. It's going to lose value over time. 100 years ago, $1 million was worth so much more than it is today. $1 million today is still worth a lot, but by the time I'm 50 years old, 25 years from now, $1 million won't be worth $1 million. It'll be able to buy a lot less than it can buy today. But if I put that $1 million into something like Bitcoin or something like gold, and those things retain their value, they don't have inflation over time. In fact, they have deflation because the supply is limited. And the government can't just print more dollars or print more Bitcoin or print more gold. Its supply is fixed. Those things, in theory, should retain their value over time. So if I put my $1 million into Bitcoin, for example, and it stays the same value over time, it's still worth $50,000 of Bitcoin, or it's worth $1 million of Bitcoin. It either appreciates or retains its value. And to me, I think all these are good store of value, except Bitcoin in comparison to gold has so many more advantages. And we'll talk about this in another video, but so many more advantages than gold. And the most important one to me really is that it truly has a fixed supply. It's 21 million. That's not going to change. It's not going to be altered. Gold, technically, although it's scarce, we don't know how much gold exists. There could be a massive gold mine somewhere that no one's found yet, and it's going to be found. And at that point, all gold becomes a little bit less valuable. And I just feel like gold, from a tangible perspective, is so much harder to divide and to transfer and to trade. It's way harder than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is digital. The world is going digital. Look at what you're watching right now. You're watching a stream or a video online, learning about things like Bitcoin. It's all digital. So to me, Bitcoin really is the digital gold. It's got a lot more advantages, while it is also a great store of value. So I'm choosing Bitcoin over gold or silver. I have no money in gold or silver, and I never plan to, as long as I believe in crypto the way that I do now. And I don't see that changing unless something drastically changes. Do you still believe it will hit 100,000 by the end of the year? Also, should we still hold and buy Bitcoin? Well, I can't give you any financial advice on holding and buying. Personally, I have not bought any more Bitcoin since it crashed. For one reason, I don't have a lot of money left to put in, unfortunately. And for the second reason, I just don't believe it's a good time to buy while everything's so crazy. I think if you haven't gotten in yet and you want to get in at a good price and you're holding long term, this could be a good opportunity to buy. I do think that. However, I'm personally not buying in because I don't know where the things are going to go over the next week or two. I got to see what happens. It could be the bottom. It could not be the bottom. And I have to wait and see before I feel comfortable putting more money in. Do I still think it'll hit 100,000? I've already said it. You probably already read it. Yes. I definitely think it's possible that this year we hit 100,000 still. It's possible that it won't happen this year. It's possible that it'll take another 6 months into 2022. I don't know. No one knows for sure. But I think 100K is definitely possible. And I would almost say it's still more likely than not to happen this run. Maybe not this year, but whatever this cycle peak is, I do think will be over 100,000 still, even though I know we're way off of that now. It's way less likely looking now at this moment, but I do think 100,000 is still possible. We'll see what happens. Last question. Are you still hodling with Riot in the current events? It's dipped like crazy in the past month. If you guys are unaware, Riot and Mara are two miner companies in the US that mine Bitcoin. These are ways to get exposure to crypto, specifically Bitcoin, in the stock market without actually buying Bitcoin itself. You can basically buy the miner companies that mine Bitcoin, and ideally they correlate together more or less. When Bitcoin goes up, the miners go up. When Bitcoin goes down, the miners tend to go down. I will say that from what I've experienced, Mara and Riot, which I own both of, they are way more crazy than Bitcoin, which is nuts to say. Bitcoin itself is already very volatile. Mara and Riot tend to be even more extreme. When Bitcoin goes down 10%, Mara and Riot go down 20%. When Bitcoin goes up 5%, 10%, Mara and Riot can go up 15, 20%. They are all over the place. Now you can see here, this is not their actual cost. You can see the costs are right up here. Now, as you can see here, they are down bad in the last month or so. 45% down, 53% down, and 56% down. If you scroll out a little bit, you can see that they're still way up on the year. Roughly, this is, 2021 starts right about here. So they are still well up on the year. And if we scroll out a bit more, I bought Mara first time around $1.42. Somewhere right around here, right before this first little peak here. I bought right here, and unfortunately that first bit I bought, I sold it at the peak, roughly $4.50, and I didn't buy back in until around $10, which was a major mistake on my part. I should have held all this money here because I'd still be way up, with Mara being at about $20 right now. At its peak was at about $56. Either way, Mara's up a ton right now, but in the past month, if you bought in, it's way down. Which means if you want to buy in now, if you haven't bought in yet, if you want to get in on Bitcoin in a way through the stock market, and you're willing to deal with the roller coaster ride that it's going to be, I would say that it's probably not a bad time to buy in. Although similar to Bitcoin, I would just wait it out and see, or maybe dollar cost average in over the next week, 2-3 weeks, with small amounts each day, so you can get a good price no matter whether the price of Bitcoin goes up or down over the next couple weeks. Again, to me, this is a long-term hold. If I believe in Bitcoin long-term, this is another way for me to play Bitcoin in my retirement accounts and in my stock accounts. So I still am holding Riot. I'm still holding Mara. I still believe in both of them. SOS is the third one I put here, is the blue one. I'm down bad on SOS. I'm down about 50% on SOS from when I bought in at $6. It's now around $3. I still believe in that one. That one's a China-based mining company, so it's a little bit different. There's a little bit different with regulations and stuff like that, so it's gotten beaten pretty bad recently. I do believe if Bitcoin goes to where we think it's going to go, over $100,000 eventually, these will follow suit over time. Again, not financial advice, but I am still invested in these, and I think you should definitely take a look at them if you're interested in investing in a mining company that mines Bitcoin. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you learned anything new, if you found any entertainment out of it, if you made your day even a little bit better, drop a like on it. It does help me quite a bit, and obviously, I'm a brand new channel, so if you want to subscribe and enjoy the journey with me, I'm going to be posting videos every single day, sometimes even 2 times a day. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see all that content, all the updates, all the things I'm getting into, and we can together hopefully get some financial freedom for the both of us. We'll see you guys all tomorrow, or maybe even later today. Have a great day.